Hello guys, let's welcome to our channel Just Genius. In the last video we have given introduction to the theta notation. In this video we are going to solve problem related to the theta notation. So when you look into this problem, so we have to solve. This is related to theta. I will write here theta notation. So let us solve this problem. Similarly, basic problem. This is very basic problem. Similar, if you know the how to solve problem in the big O notation or in big omega notation, you can solve the problem in the theta notation also in similar kind of way. So I will show. So let us solve this problem. So before going to this theta notation is above average bound condition. It is used in average cases scenarios. Okay, it is average case scenarios. Okay, it is used in it is both upper and lower bound, both average bound. It is also called average case scenarios and average bound. So before going to this theta notation, you have to remember two identities. Means f of n equals to theta of g of n. Also c1 into g of n less than f of n less than c2 into g of n. Okay, according to these two conditions we can solve this problem. So f of n is given, f of n equal to 2n plus 3. So we know that c1 into g of n less than or equal to f of n less than or equal to c2 into g of n. G of n is nothing but n, you know. How did I get n also, you know. F of n equal to what is the given 2n plus 3, this is 3, less than c2 into n. So substitute some values of c1 and c2. So suppose if I substitute c1 equal to 1 and c2 equal to 5, c1 equals to 1, c2 equals to 5, c1 equals to 1, c2 equals to 5, I will get like this 5n. So if I substitute n equal to 1, if I substitute n equal to 1, n equal to 1 less than or equal to less than. So this is less than or equal to. Okay. So this 5 lies between these two values. Okay, this condition becomes true, gets true. Okay, this condition gets true. So answer is f of n equal to big theta of g of n. What is the value of g of n? N. Big theta of n. So in the place of n, can you write anything? I told you an order. Suppose if I take big omega notation, you can write in the place of n, in the place of answer, what you have got, all the values of lower bound conditions. Also in big O notation, you can write all the values of upper bound conditions. Whereas in theta notation, as it is in average bound, you have to write n only. What you got answer, you have to write that value only in theta notation, because it is an average bound condition. You cannot write any value. So we cannot take any value due to it is wait due to it is average value. Okay, cannot take any value. So answer is big theta of n only. So I hope that understand how to solve this problem. So I think you have majorly did. Why did I take directly c1 equal to 1 and c2 equal to 5 without substituting, without trial and error? You can solve by using trial and error also. So before this one, in the introduction, while teaching this big theta notation, I have told you that this big theta notation is combination of both upper and lower bound. So we will discuss majorly here. Big theta is theta notation is combination of upper and lower bound, that is nothing but average bound. So upper bound comes under big O notation, lower bound comes under omega notation. So CM, take the problem, I'll show. So f of n, what he is given, f of n equals to 2n plus 3. Okay, in big O notation, f of n less than or equal to c into g of n. Okay, solve this problem. So 2n plus 3 less than or equal to c into g of n. So if I substitute c equal to, so you know n equal to, so you know g of n equal to n less than c into n, 2n plus 3. So if I substitute c equal to 1 or n equal to 1, I cannot get answer. If you substitute c equal to 1, n equal to 2, I cannot get answer. So if I substitute c equal to 5 and n equal to 1, this condition gets true. So c equals to 5, n equals to 1. So 5 less than or equal to 5. So this condition gets true in big O notation. So similarly, if you take this notation and solve in process of big omega notation, So f of n greater than or equal to c into g of n in big omega notation. So what is that notation? 2n plus 3 less than greater than or equal to c into n. I hope that you are understanding. If you don't understand, please watch this video again and again, because actual main point is that theta notation is both average and average notation. It is that upper and lower bound. So if you solve, so first you take this notation and solve in big omega notation. So second, take this notation and solve in the process like big omega notation, and solve big O notation and big omega notation, and take the values of c. One is c1, another one is c2. So substitute directly. How did I get directly values of c1 and c2? Like this only. So if I substitute c equal to 1 here and n equal to 1, n equal to 1, if I get 5 here, c equal to 1, n equal to 5. So this condition gets true. Here I substituted c equal to 1. This is what notation I will write. Observe this each and every notation carefully. Big omega. So similarly you can simply call it is an omega, not only big omega, it is omega. So here I substituted c equal to 5. So this is big O. Okay. So when you come to this theta notation, c1 and c2, observe this point: c1 equal to 1, c2 equal to 5. I have taken c1 from big omega notation, and c2 from big O notation. So when you look into this condition, so this comes under, so it's not visible to you. c1 into g of n less than or equal to f of n less than or equal to c2 into g of n. So observe this one carefully. This comes under big O. Ignore this constant. You can substitute any c1 or c2, anyone. So when you compare this comes under big omega. Okay. I hope that you have understood how did I get c1 and c2 values directly. So before going to c1 and c2 values, you have to solve the problem like this only, to solve big theta notation. Okay. So I hope that you have understood this big theta notation. So once again we will discuss. Where is this problem? This is problem. Once again we will overview it just in 1 minute. Listen carefully. So this problem is given f of n. Okay. F of n equal to 2n plus 3. So you know the two conditions we have to remember when we recall to this big omega notation, big theta notation. Any notation what they give, you have to recall these two conditions and solve according to these two conditions. So I have solved and taken c1 values and c2 values. c1 equal to 1 and c2 equal to 5. Why did I take c1 equal to 1 and c2 equal to 5 means? So when you look into this inequality, where did I write this one? So when you look into this inequality, observe this inequality. I will upload this one in Google Drive. You can access that Google Drive. I will upload this PPT also, slide. So when you look into this inequality, half part is belongs to big omega notation and half part is belongs to big O notation. That is nothing but this is an average bound condition. That is nothing but it is used in the average case scenarios. That is nothing but theta notation. Okay, and solve c1 and c2 taken. Okay, to clarify you, I have solved problem in big omega notation and big O notation, and big omega notation. I have solved problem. So if you observe this one, I have solved in two ways. Big omega notation, first big O notation, I have solved in big O notation. So I have taken c equal to 5 here. Okay, I have taken c equal to 5, whereas in here in big omega notation I have taken c equal to 1. We have to concentrate on constants. Okay, first observe that basically when a notation problem is given, observe the definition of that notation very carefully and solve according to that notation and prove what he asked, whether he asked to prove f of n greater than or equal to c into g of n or less than c into g of n. So observe that point carefully and solve like that. Okay, the each and every material of the data structures can be uploaded in the description box. You can access that link from the description box. I will upload this PPT also in the description box. You can watch this PPT in the description box also. Okay, thank you. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe.